Hey my loves, it's Lady Keturah. So I am reading the Marriage Boot Camp book. And where we left off is about brag on your mate, a small group exercise. This is an exercise for small groups and a great way to end an evening. The objective of every marriage boot camp drill is to ignite connection between the two of you. And this drill will do that. During this drill, each person stands behind their mate, puts their hands on their shoulders, and gives them a little massage while bragging about their mate to the group. For 1 minute, they share all of their mate's best qualities. Go around the room until everyone has had an opportunity to share. This is something you can do in everyday life without anyone else in your social group, even knowing that you're practicing a marriage counseling exercise. Make a point to brag about a recent accomplishment of your mate at least once within his earshot every time you are out socializing. Your mate should make the same effort. The key is to make sure that your mate is in the earshot or a part of the conversation so that he or she can hear your accolades. I believe I'm saying that right. I hope so. Okay, so the key takeaways for this chapter. The number one rule of a marriage boot camp is when one person is talking, the other person is what? Listening. Understand that each person views life through a very personal grid. Understand your personal worldview. Know yourself well enough to be able to communicate who you are to your partner. Know that you are responsible for not only your intentions but also the impact of your behavior. Your intentions can be noble and still have a impact, something like that. Learn the skill of mirroring. Learn what your love language is and what your mate's love language is. Understand the difference between an emotional language and a logical language. Articulate your needs and your wants. Make a commitment to invest in your partner's love account. Brag on your mate frequently. Communication can be hard work, but when you are diligent in learning and practicing how to communicate effectively and lovingly, the rewards will not only be the kind of marriage you always wanted, but more success in your work and better relationships with your children and your friends. Okay, so chapter 2, sex. Remember, in the marriage. Okay, quick quiz. Is your sex life all that you dream it will be? Do you and your mate communicate openly about sex? Can you describe what you want from sex in clear detail? Do you and your mate fight about sex? Was your first sexual experience wonderful? In a marriage now, because remember this is marriage boot camp. All right. If you answer negatively to any of these questions, then this chapter is going to provide you with some tools to improve your sex life with your mate in a marriage. Don't let anyone tell you that sex in a marriage isn't important. It is. Saul and Aaron's story. Saul and Aaron came to the marriage boot camp feeling like they had become no more than roommates. With 3 small children, financial pressures, and a little time for each other, their sex life had dwindled to nothing. They said that all they do is fight or ignore each other, and most of the time they don't even remember what they were fighting about in the first place. They had come to the marriage boot camp to deal with conflict, not their sex life, which they had given up on a long time ago, with Aaron shutting down and Saul turning to pornography. But we knew we had to focus our attention on Saul and Aaron's sex life because a marriage will be at a risk if it is missing one of its foundational elements, a rich and vibrant sex life. One of the issues for Saul and Aaron was a misunderstanding of the essential differences between men and women. Our bodies are different and our brains are as different as our bodies. Our chemistry is different. Testosterone fuels a man aggressive tendencies. Estrogen causes women to be natural nurturers. Saul felt that Aaron didn't initiate sex enough, which made him resentful. But underneath the resentment was really a profound sense of rejection. This caused him to check out, avoid the subject, and dabble into pornography. Aaron acknowledged Saul's complaint and had made some small attempts to step up, but was never consistent and was turned off by her husband's criticism. Aaron also felt rejected. She complained, "I am just not hot enough the way I am. Do I have to act like a porn star to get your attention?" For the record, women are not natural entertainers. Women will step up to be aggressive when the situation calls for it, and men will step up to the plate to be emotional, nurturing when the situation calls for it. But know that it does not necessarily come naturally. Researchers at the University of Pennsylvania in 2013 found the same thing, as if we needed a brain scan to know this. They analyzed close to 1,000 brain scans of men and women and found that the brain of men and women is very different and points to strengths that heretofore were laughed off as stereotype. We're going to get into more detail about the way the different genders' brains work in chapter 5. But for now, just accept that men and women are wired differently and have different reactions and responses to the same situations. No big surprise here. Women are more relational than men and have highly integrated left/right brains. And men have more brain with greater abilities and focused tasks. When translated into the bedroom, these differences show up in the University of Pennsylvania survey. Top 5 sexual desires of men. Most frequent sex, to be wanted, adored, visual stimulation, variety and playfulness, oral sex, in a marriage now. Okay. Top 5 sexual desires of women. Okay. Yeah, I just want to skip that. But some of them is safety, connection, foreplay, romance in the marriage. So as you can see, these desires really don't overlap. So the question is, how do we bridge the gender gap? Let's drill a little deeper and get some more information. Okay, so right here it has the phases of sexual experience. Yeah, so this is like the little table that they have. So phase 1. So what we find is that in the excitement phase, men are visual focused and quick, maybe too quick. Men can lose their focus during love making and be able to get right back into sex without hesitation in a marriage, okay? Women, on the other hand, need to feel emotionally connected and are easily distracted. Kids, phones, stupid jokes have no place in the bedroom for women. And once she's distracted, that's a chance of getting her back in the mood right then and there. Have you ever listened to a woman in long-term relationships joking together about what actually goes through their heads during sex? If in a marriage, if they're not focused and in the mood, some women make grocery lists, run through their to-do list for when sex is finished, and plan dinner in their heads while their mate is having sex with them. It's totally true. I heard people joke that if they could only get away with folding laundry in certain positions, they would try. While it's funny, it's also very sad. It shows that their mates don't realize they require a certain level of romance and foreplay in a marriage to get a woman a rose. I might want to skip this chapter. I mean, y'all just... Y'all gonna have to buy this book and read that volume for y'all selves. Alright, let's see what else we can learn. Okay, so right here, let's see. They still talking about Saul and Aaron. Problems they had in their marriage. And this one is the pornography. We would be remiss not to talk about the kind of imprinting that comes from pornography, because that can also be a factor in sexual problems. So that's a big no-no in the marriage. And I know that, and I'm preparing for marriage as well. But that's one thing, is me preparing for marriage. This is something that I'm not going to accept in my marriage, is pornography. Why would I want to look at somebody else on the screen having sinful sex? That's just sin. Like, that's not going to entertain me, and that's not going to entertain my husband. That's causing a big separation in your marriage. So if you do that, stop watching pornography in your marriage, because it's a big problem. So it says, if a man spends a great deal of time gratifying himself with, for example, pornography that features large breast women, he will bring this imprint in his marriage bedroom and may be unsatisfied with his partner. See? So that's why that's a big no-no. Don't watch pornography at all. Especially not in no marriage. Understand that the appeal of pornography has a lot to do with feeling accepted. It never rejects you. It always welcomes you, wants you, and say yes. Unfortunately, this is false intimacy. And it can hinder true intimacy in that it compromises your ability to bond with the real person in a healthy way. Here's the kicker. False intimacy leaves you a little bit emptier than when you started. And this deficient then needs to be filled at a higher and higher dose, almost like a drug addiction. That's so true. That's why pornography can be considered addictive. True intimacy, on the other hand, leaves you feeling love and full to overflowing. It multiplies rather than subtracts. Saul and Aaron were in a common cycle that often ends in a stalemate of a sexual cold war. Okay, so it starts with misunderstanding of the normal biological differences between men and women, causing negative judgments to be passed. Men are animals, women are cold fish. Okay, so we're going to stop right there for tonight. Well, I'll come back and read, guess we'll read Nathan's and Jordana's story, and we will see what we learned in this story, what to avoid in a marriage, and what can we accept in a marriage. So yeah, it's a boot camp book for marriage. So yeah, hopefully you're enjoying it. Some parts I am, some parts I'm not. But yeah, remember, it's always stories time with Keturah. So yeah, all right. So I hope you enjoyed tonight. Love you all. Until next time.